What's up, world? What's up, Zion? It's Prince Easy coming at you again, once more, as usual. I do have a couple slides that I want to share with you, right? So, of course, anyway, uh, they hit me with a bioweapon as usual, you know. Just before I record, they gotta make it impossible, right? I'm seeing them right now. And they work pretty fast too. You gotta give him props for that at least. So anyway, I wanna issue a disclaimer, right? So if I keep coughing and wheezing throughout this video, you just know what it is, right? But it's gonna clear up as the more we go on. So I wanna issue a disclaimer, right? A fair use disclaimer for copywritten material that's gonna be shown here in this here post, right? So yeah, let's get to it. Right, so I saw this thing coming out of Russia over there, and I say, wow, like too many moving components, so many things can go wrong. Remove that extended arm. Do you see that observation hole or something that you call? How about you just use that loading mechanism that look like a revolver loading mechanism and put it flush to the body, maybe a half cycle, right? And the autoloader firing, right? You give it space to breathe the exhaust, or give it a double takeoff mechanism. But this here, the most interesting I think is the miso. So fiber, and fiber is on the rise. Okay, the work has been done, it's spreading, right? Being around, and of course the service is still much needed, right? And the biggest hurdle or problem I have with this whole thing is mostly one is forced to localize. You understand what I'm saying? You have to be close to the terminal for you to get access to the internet. Isn't there any workaround with all this tech? Hmm? Yep, Angola, 500 million barrels. And now you have to be extremely smart. First us, then it's them. If you forget that, then you're screwed. Right? Congo, I don't know what type of games are being played over there, but it is what it is. Yeah, they're eager, they say, right? And what would happen if they would announce a security architecture after this, a separate one away from NATO? Because they have conversations about it. I think I pointed this out. But hey, we shall cross that bridge when we get to it. And again, these satellite images that can penetrate the sand and crazy work. It's interesting that the military does not even have such equipment. But these satellites apparently have. So you're telling me you can See all the bunkers and right, the silos, all of them. Is that it? From the satellite radar? I don't think there's a sustainability concern. It is too early to evaluate. Too early to evaluate. Right? We need more stations to fill up. Right? Then we start making policies, maybe start allowing importation of cars that run on CNG from the factory, right? Not these conversions, because these conversions, we have to agree that they have issues. They have issues. You lose some, I don't know, torque or horsepower, I don't know which, right? But you lose some in most cases, or rather from the reports that I have heard for people who have installed these conversion kits, right? They're not it, right? These vehicles needs to be built from the bottom up to run on CNG, right? Those are the cars that will help in the matrix. But when we're talking about analyzing, no, it's too early to analyze. A lot more investment is needed, right? Major pipelines need to be laid down to supply throughout the country, right? To produce electricity for cooking and all of these things. They are not yet and of course the concerns still remain, right? That the vehicle becomes right, it loses something. So too early to analyze. I don't even know what to say about this. Even this either. The contrast, right? The contrast. It tells you a lot. So scale this up, right? In all the water bodies that are surround the major lakes, all of them, scale it up, get some youth employed. No schooling, no nothing, just straight up go over there on site and learn. Money is there. I don't think money is the issue. Money is there. But again, the systems that we have are slow. And I'm split between understanding why they are slow and wanting them to change. Yep, the Syrians are smart. For those who thought that they sold out wholesale and this and that, and no, those people are just adapting to the reality. Okay? What did Trump say? He told Turkey, right? What did he tell Turkey? Refer to that in order to understand what Syria is now, right? Inappropriate word. Just so you know. Or my mama. Right?
You're really going to be a racist, then you should be a true racist and not use anything or be involved with anything that was invented or created by blacks. Do you want a list? The ironing board, the refrigerator, the baby carriage, the shoemaking machines, the traffic signal, the incandescent light bulb, the folding bed, the mailbox, air conditioning, elevator. You want me to go on?
This is a nation that invented the light bulb. the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip, the smartphone, the GPS, the integrated circuit, and even the internet. Basically, we invented everything.
We?
Yeah. So, mysterious hole, they call it. Okay, we shall circle back to this because they found out another mysterious hole, but somewhere else. Now I don't know which one they are referring to. Taka, is this news to you or something? Like I've been showing you here coverage of this whole situation. What is it? Narrative control or what? These protests. Pluto, discovered in 96. This is what they saw in 2015. Yeah, they're adapting. But in reality, if you take the P900 and look up there, this is what you're gonna see. That is what you're gonna see. And that's what exactly those so-called stars or planets look like. You know, look at this one here. Talk about a wheel within a wheel, right? Angels. What do they say? Semantics. On top of that, sound in water and illumination happens. That's what they are. That's why they twinkle. This is another hole they discovered. Now, do you believe they discovered this? Look at that. Stanford people then gave us another one for all. One for all. How is that even possible? They figured maybe we don't change or we didn't intend to attack the germs, we change you, right? We change your DNA. And again, I'm clear this is not cool, and it has a way of what do they call it, rubber banding around hard, right? It's like a deja vu, and people haven't learned anything. Okay, 7 billion, so they say. Tensions are high. Oh, Canada. Takaichi then made a statement. The international order is it international order? If it is international order, then we are part of that international. And what is Japan's Takaichi talking about? Talking about your masters losing power and you abandoning ship like Titanic rats. But I don't know, less honorable. sovereignty with security concerns. So they are balancing the two, right? So on one side there is sovereignty and the other is security concerns. There lies the problem. Okay, these people do not pose a threat to America, no Europe, no Israel, and that's a fact. So who do they work for? Ten-year curling plan. Okay, this is again those foolish attempts of people playing God, right? 10 years. We shall circle back to this, I don't know, about next year, when whatever predator starts slashing. Okay. So, an estimated 13 million, not 13 million as a whole. Okay, and this story here is quite interesting. You can pause and read for yourself. Yeah, we are coming at you. You know, but again, no sweat. Your youth over there are very active, right? Right here in Tanzania, people are so fractured. It's a process. Friends is surprised. Oh, really? Don't you know that they represent you? So you were not supposed to be there. They were the ones that are supposed to be shook that you were there. Or rather not. Contrast. Of course, there's always gonna be bias, right? But again, this is just a narrative, right? It's not like America is not open to buy, and right, we have seen videos of you trying to recruit Chinese people to work for the CIA or something, you know, like sheesh. Alright? Yeah, and the update from this, I heard that they got the international certification. Right? Busy bees. They are so wide, so systematic, and still no accountability. And by the way, UN, what happened to that money issue that you had? Yeah, completely unacceptable. Well, what do I think about this expert's opinion? I think, or what I've come to know from listening and learning and different accounts. Well, there is proper I don't know, documentation pertaining to these past civilizations and how they got their origins and stuff, right? and it's all connected to beings other than humans. Okay, that needs to be understood, right? Now, last time, right, we talked about the middle management. Remember that conversation? So you might be asking, what do humans get in exchange? Tech. That's what they get. Tech. For instance, right? Because these watchers, they were watching over specific things that God has created, right? Specific. They were looking over, right? Now I can't speculate, right, which is which or what did what. They know themselves, right? Maybe one day we'll get to ask, right? But maybe the angel who watches over, I don't know, rocks or water, right? Or the one responsible for lightning, right? All of these things, right? And even the gods of ancient civilizations, they show that it was influenced by an external force, right? And that is true even now, right? And the word that we use here is the angels, right? The angels, okay? The most interesting conversation that has been happening is that these individuals are expecting the same level of care that they gave these stolen artifacts, basically becoming a bottleneck to the return of these goods that they stole, right? Saying that, you know what, you need to build special accommodations and have special environments where you can preserve these things. And we know all of that enough. Okay, we have experts on that now. We're not children. So return our stuff, full stop, and stop using it as a political token of some sort. This is what they said. Nah, you China's, you're going against the script. Yeah, this just went fly by the radar, you know. Hmm? He doesn't care. Why? Because he's busy planning the future, perhaps. 16 years free conflict. I don't even believe that. Maybe the war was not with other countries, but it was definitely with their own people. Right? For crying out loud. What was that? Harlem or something? Where they dropped the bombs? Literally. White America is something else, brothers and sisters. I'm just learning that. It is something else. Right? They're shook that ICE is doing all of this while these people literally drop bombs on the so-called Black Wall Street because it was so prosperous and it was out of their influence. Right? And then, like, Imagine that. Now the American government dropping bombs on white neighborhoods. They did it back then, but people were quiet. 800 bases, and people think that this is normal. This is not normal. Okay, this is not normal. No ceasefire unless the demands are met. Just a kind way of saying, please surrender. If you do not, then this will continue, and we shall see what Zelensky says. Right, so right. So later on, when they talk about, oh la 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 le le le, we will be covered. Are they both happening or just one? How about you stripe that portable reactor from the missile thing is? Oh, this is safe. But if that one below there for military use, might be an alternative for even launching satellites and stuff. Right, those are still gonna be needed, but for our weapons, this will make even Tanzania more adaptable, faster, and multiply our capability. Right, because that's what I see. In order to upgrade our military capability as of now as a nation, we need weapons that can fire longer, right? Maybe 500 kilometers, 1500, just to begin with. Ballistic. With enough of a payload, right? So any point within our territory, fully covered. That's the setup that we should be looking at. Ukraine is definitely not losing the war, okay? So okay? Right? These people are working. They are working. Right? Mike is out here in Congo having fun with his brothers. Yeah, we need aliens right about now. Right? We do. Okay. The pictures, the uncanny pictures, it tells me everything. Scapegoat. Of course, they had to call my guy in to chime in. Yeah, this was quite embarrassing. Why? Because There is no coordination, muscle and brain. Right? The Chinese, they lifted the thing up with coordination. Bop, pull it up, and they went. The Americans are the ones below, struggling. Why? Because they're not coordinated. And these two people are gonna fight. That makes it whole different when it comes to firefights, especially. It's crazy work. So, this happened. What is this? Well, this is what that was. So, Mr. Asante here, quite insightful. During the times of peace, Of course, women raised to prominent. Why? Because they were the last to die. Men live shorter lives. And living elders in the society are mostly gonna be elder women. Is that a fact even now? So of course they're gonna be influential. Right? Astronomy again, the fallen, proverbs, development in linguistics, right? Because that's just another form of delivering. Measurements, fact. Mummification, fact. Counting of days, also fact, but also fallen angel behavior. Because really ask yourself, why are you counting the days? What are you counting to? Imitation of sounds, music and rhythm, recording of days. Sopdet and Hakti. You can look for your video for yourself. I'm just here to show you a couple slides, a couple of extracts. You can go look at his lecture, longer lecture. Right? Inzalo Lianga. Right? That's Bantu straight up. Right? I can Nzialo basically both place. Lianga probably Mwanga. He's a researcher, well educated. From what he speculates, the doctrine of Ausa is where Christianity came from. Well, the story of the salvation of man, right, was told a long time ago. It was prophesied a long time ago. So that gave way to a lot of fake stuff to creep in, right, to try to imitate and, that's the difference between the true and false. So IMF, are you saying this for all of us? This is why all of these nations are now creating a new model in order to trade? it's not hurting the global economy, it's hurting you, IMF, directly in one way or the other. And for us, that's good. That's good, and you know exactly why. Look at what you did to Kenya. Look at what you did to Kenya. That's just a fine example. So, this idiocracy happens. It needs security. The Europeans and Americans, they are not to be trusted under any circumstance. I'm waiting for confirmation pertaining to this here. The US ambassador was out here talking reckless. Ambassador to Israel, of course. He was talking reckless to while they doing an interview with Tucker Carlson. I hope they coordinated. Trump still undefeated. What is this now? A Trojan horse or something? Yeah, because that would be ironic. There is no biblical justification. These people wrote themselves into that book. Okay? Stop it. Rage. What are you gonna do about it? They are literally bombing you as we speak. As I've been showing day in and day out. The only people who have done stuff, who have shown that they are truly free, are the Iranians and the Yemenis. You need to take your sovereignty and your security serious. That's what you need to do. I'm waiting to see. Right, on top of the Epstein files, now we have the alien files, right? The X-Files. I was recently watching the X-Files. It was quite an interesting psyop you had running in that movie over there. Quite interesting. He has an opinion. Isn't it too late now, President Lula? Don't you think? Ukraine does not care. They are on the suicide path or something. You know? Zelensky don't care. After the crisis that I heard he was they was spending water as much as data centers in draining whole communities and aquifers. This is some crazy work just to feed us poison. Well, they don't want to talk about it. They do not. Why? Because they always have to have a boogeyman, right? They always have to have a boogeyman, right? In order to, I don't know, reason their way out of understanding what they're seeing, right? They're seeing the economy going in the toilet. Their first instinct is to find a boogeyman. China, Russia. China is buying up all our farms. You remember that? Most of you were talking about this in this alternative so-called media. China is buying up all our farms. China is sending this and that, weeds and all of these things, even now, even today. It's always something. Why? Because I think you know what is happening in your community, and you're having a big problem dealing with this, that you don't have an Epstein problem. It is now almost appearing to be a cultural problem, right? It has become so prolific. Why? Because you look away, right? And this not to discredit the efforts that are being made, right? Because there are some genuine law enforcement out there trying to snap these freaks, but these numbers they warrant a conversation, unless this habit is acceptable. And the victims of your society are going to be the women and the children. Sir, please. So circle back to this. Lebanon, anything? You deserve to be struck then. Look at this mess. This is an international problem. If it's not the Americans, then it's the European. If it's not the Europeans, then it's definitely the Israelis. And in most cases, it's all of them working in tandem. The world is running out of water. No, it's running out of people investing in actually water infrastructure. They're investing more in missiles and stuff, right? Or are you with that whole agenda of I don't know, making water not our God-given right? If you do that, then we are gonna burn you. Believe me, you. Okay, Somaliland. This conversation done already been had. We already knew that you were doing this. Okay? This is not news to us. It's not news for us, and you need to understand that. And we know that they are currently there. Right? By my calculations, they are there in Yemen, hiding. And of course, you have to look for submarines also. To deter the Yemenis in case they go after Iran. Because they know day by day it's just more groups joining in, and it's like getting out of hand. They need to do it now, they feel like. And then you, out of all the people, come out and pretend like you're not a puppet. It's almost laughable at this point. Okay? Nasal spray vaccine, the new breed, right? They have figured out the job is the word itself is being censored. Right? You can't say that. You can't say the word vaccine either. You can't say vax. Right? Now we are gonna go with nasal sprays, right? even this potato coming out of the woodwork, you think it's coincidental? Nothing is coincidental. So for you people who believe that this guy coming out, this guy all of a sudden coming out with these absurd conversations, it's not. No, do not take the distractions. Okay, we already know you have been sending troops from the UK unofficially to Ukraine to help them out, and you have been dying, and still you're gonna pretend like, you know what, we're not in there. Sure, bring them. So they did not coordinate with the Afrikaners. They just did what they had to do. For whose interests, I don't know. Maybe they are accusing the African government for supporting these so-called terrorists who blew up their mosque. Was this the best way to go about it? Well, we shall find out. This guy still talking about cooperating. With who? So as you can booby trap the thing. This should be our stance also. We will not allow you to bully us, oppress us, or enslave us. So you know. Okay? This is them stretching out the so-called olive branch towards. And this is not the European Union who have sat down and decided this, what these member countries decided and voted on this. No, this was just the bureaucrats of the EU trying to ruin everything. Right? Now all of that talk of these people rushing to China all of a sudden. And now look. So what? Are these countries and the EU separate entities? Maybe. It seems to be. And there is a power struggle. I'm watching you, Zimbabwe, and the development coming out of there pertaining to this whole deal here. Right? Global Bitcoin, Nigeria and South Africa. I don't know. Ethiopia is moving, right? And this should not even be hard for us, you know. This censorship is too much. So again, even the Ethiopians should think larger, involve other countries. Right? Again, NHSC, I had this question also myself. Who are you building for? Precisely, exactly. It's a serious question. You need to be specific, because if you don't know or you're speculating upon the answer, then we have a big problem. Because there are so many ways we can go about it. Right? But again, It's that business mindset that I think at this point in time dhumuni kula NHC limeshapotea, biashara imeshakuwa saizi wanaongelea asset na liabilities, sio kujengea makazi wa Tanzania waweze ku This is not the way to go about it. Mnaweza mkafanya vyote, mkafanya hivi, lakini bado msisahau kufanya kaina ma specialist mdesign nyumba za kwa ajili ya madaraja yote, kwa sababu hapa ni mostly hapa middle class ndo mnao wahudumia hapa middle class, not even the middle class. Hawa ni hapa middle class ndo mnao wahudumia NHC kwa hizi project mpya na ambazo zimesambaa sana, kiachana na hizi project nizoona hapa sijui Ilala hapa kama sikosei. Mrudi kama ilivyokuwa kitambo. Dhumuni lenu kuu liwe ni kuwapa watu makazi. Idadi ya watu inaongezeka kwa kasi kubwa. We need to figure that out. Last but not least, this happened. So I don't know. This setup has been a long time coming, right? You remember 2 times he said on different occasions, the Iranians are trying to assassinate me, and if they do and they are successful, then annihilate their nations. And he said, I have left the orders for that to be executed. Now, is this going to be used as a pretext? I don't know what the narrative is going to be. But nobody is interested in killing you, Trump. Nobody. Okay? Nobody. As far as I know. Unless you are trying to kill each other with the Europeans and the Israelis. Those are your suspects over there. So, anyway, let me not go on for long, right? It's about 52, 53 seconds. So, yeah. They're doing what they're always doing. Right? They're doing what they've always been doing. There's no new thing here. Right? They got Epstein. They got aliens now. They have black holes in the water and in the skies. In the space, sorry. It's a lot. But it's a lot for a reason. Okay? Remember the magician? A distraction, which in most cases in their stages is just a beautiful woman, right? This is all of the things that you're seeing now, including the Epstein files, the alien files, whatever gates that exist out there, the water, the pizza kinds, and whatever gate that is going to come up in the future, right? As if you gave it that name, gate. No, you didn't give it that. That is the name of the operation. So, focus. Yeah, there is a Epstein files coming out, but nigga, have you eaten? Is your water running? Yeah. These are the things that they want the American people to be distracted about. Right? Your immediate problem, I'm sorry to break this to you, is not Epstein and the said files. right? You can have the files, right? From what I hear, many people have the files. Okay, last I heard, the Iranians have the files from a hack. I don't know when they did that, but they have the files. Don't know if that is connected to that report that I posted here from the DOJ being hacked. I don't know. So, it's just another day at the office, right? And they are throwing a temper tantrum in order to be seen, right? In order for people to pay attention. Like, why then just come out and throw out that 15% tariff? What was that for? I don't know. It's their country, they do whatever they want to do. The only thing we can do is protect ourselves from their bullshit. Okay? So I'm gonna put a pin on it right there, and we're gonna see each other when we see each other. Prince Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.